Hey, cheers my mates. After some decent writer's block, I finally figured out how to make this video. And I will explain why I think there are some people that think Rittenhouse is guilty no matter what. And, well, this will be purely my opinion. I would say even deductions, maybe speculation, be one or the other. But, hey, I would appreciate if you would let me know what do you think, if I'm right or if I'm wrong. So, without any further ado, let's jump straight into it, shall we? Well, in order to explain these things, I need to establish first my position on Rittenhouse, and that is that all available evidence screams clear case of self-defense. There might be some that I'm not privy to that would change my mind, but I haven't seen any, and I've seen a lot. Now, that said, I will now explain when and where I would be in a position where I would view Carl as guilty as no matter what. That is, if this event would happen inside of my country at the time, Czechoslovakia, between the years of 1938 and 1945. We were at the time occupied by Nazi Germany. It was really bad. And if by some miracle there would be a demonstration that would not be just dispersed by machine guns and tanks, well, and all of this would transpire, as it happened there, I would view Carl as guilty no matter what. Because I would come to, like, his statements and stuff like that, he was there to protect businesses and stuff like that. It would be like, no, mate, no, you should have been there with us. You should have helped us, you know. Who are you? Are you a Nazi collaborator? Are you a traitor? Those would be the basically red lines that I could not change my mind, basically. I would view him as guilty no matter what. And what I deduce from this is that you basically in the United States are, as of now, in something of a conflict mentality, if you would. Because when two nations, for example, declare war on each other, the people are not like, oh, well, I guess we are technically speaking in a state of war, so we don't like those other people. No, that's not how it works at all. You know, like at any historical, there's no historical precedence for this, basically. Hey, when I was editing this video, I realized that this was not explained properly. So what I mean is, when there were the wars, in 1700s, 1600s, when nobility declared war on each other and stuff like that, that's one. And the other example is again from for example, the Czechs or like other Slavic people that were living under Austrian-Hungarian Empire. And when Austro-Hungary declared war on Serbia, that were our fellow Slavs, we don't want to fight them. Why would we want to fight them, right? The same thing went to when Austro-Hungary declared war on Russia. The same thing. Slavic people didn't want to fight Russians, but when Italy joined on the side of the Entente and declared war on Austria-Hungary, yeah, my ancestors were more than happy to jump into a fight, like with Italians, because, well, what they did was viewed as a betrayal. We didn't like them that much and stuff like that. So yeah, this conflict mentality, what I mean, that's really deep inside, like it's a very subconscious thing, and it affects how people view things. And what I mean by that, it literally plays tricks on your mind, you know what I mean? And hey, I again forgot to clarify this point properly. If you don't think I'm correct on this, let me just ask you a question. Let's say this would happen in Israel/Palestine, and let's say Mr. Rosenbaum and others would be Palestinian and Kyle would be Israeli. Do you think your perception of him being guilty or innocent would change based on if he would be Israeli or Palestinian. I'm pretty fucking sure it would change. A few weeks ago, I was at a small YouTube channel, One Man Band TV, and I met there Miss Eve and a certain fella that went by the name Book. And from talking to them, I basically get the gist that they want kind of a payback. Why I'm saying that is because I literally said to Miss Eve that the first person shot, well, his group was actually planning the ambush, to ambush someone. Well, they picked Kyle in order to rob them of their firearms. He came prepared with his t-shirt wrapped around his face. And then, well, as on video, Mr. Zeminski, Mr. Rosenbaum approached Kyle runs away, Mr. Zeminski fires even the first shot, right? And I told her that, yeah, he was certifiably, well, a lunatic, let's be honest. And it literally didn't go through there, and not because Miss Eve does not have the mental capacity, not at all. I think she's quite a smart lady, but here I just want to cover my ass in case some idiot would take this out of context. My position on basically intelligence is that it is attributed as any other, and simply people with intelligence or without it are capable of doing or not doing certain things, and you are not people who laugh at, for example, people with lower intelligence are absolute assholes because we are born with our IQ and cannot change it. Okay? It is just an attribute to me, and I was not insinuating here anything. Simply put, I consider Miss Eve as quite smart, and that's all that is to it. No double meaning. I think it didn't go through, this, well, a conflict mentality. That's the one thing, and I think there's a certain internal chaos because that I'm judging from talking to the Mr. Book, and when he spoke, he, by the way, accused Kyle being a provocateur. That he was right. It didn't go through to me because it came from nowhere, and it took me a while before I even started to process that information. What he means by that. And mate, Kyle, you could please. I have a challenge for you. Could you pick a worse agent provocateur than Kyle? No, I highly doubt it, what I mean, because he literally asked at multiple points journalists to go with him, to follow him. No. Agents provocateurs don't operate like that. They operate from shadows, influence people and stuff like that. How do I know so much about agent provocateurs? Well, we are literally taught about it because our nation's history is when we were under Austrian-Hungarian Empire, and we really wanted out. There were plenty of protests, and Austrian-Hungarian Empire sent in agents provocateurs, and well, we needed to learn how to distinguish them from regular people and stuff like that. If I would pick someone as an agent provocateur, it would be probably a woman. They quite often go under the radar. Take, for example, Mr. Zeminski's wife/girlfriend. I'm not sure which one it is the truth, but that would be my perfect candidate. Look at just how she was there with Mr. Zeminski and stuff like that. Quite possibly even convince him to take the shot. Maybe, I don't know. But she's flying completely under the radar. Perfect candidate for agent provocateur. If you want to know more, basically, I would recommend the book from Mr. Alfred Hašek, The Good Soldier Schweik. It's translated to English, and yeah, it's quite relevant even to this day, and he speaks there all about, for example, agent provocateurs. Anyway, back to the point. Mr. Book basically spoke, and with these things and with others, he basically reminded me of someone from back in the day, from authors that we were reading when we were at school, from late 1800s, for example, and our desire for an independent country. And I think that this is the chaos. Well, but first I need to explain what this chaos does to a person's reasoning. So after the Second World War, there were massacres on ethnic Germans in Czech lands perpetrated by my people. There were some definitely led by Russians, but yeah, there were plenty of done by Czechs. Where some, might have been collaborators and traitors, but vast majority of the women and children definitely weren't. Yeah, it wasn't fun times. And first time I basically found out this information, it created a chaos in me, because unrelenting force meant an immovable object. This was my unrelenting force, that was my reasoning, that was the evidence laid in front of me. An immovable object left for my country. Well, I came to, I basically twisted myself inside in order to come with some form of a reasoning where it would be justified, right? And I came to such as that they did worse, therefore they deserve it. That kind of sums it up, and as a group, as a people group, don't mind you. And of those of you that know me, at least some know that it's very much not how I am. Yet it basically, this chaos completely twisted my reasoning, or I don't know, like it created this internal conflict inside of me. And if you want basically to see such things, what it does is I would recommend to watch some YouTube video that goes over the Russian atrocities in the Second World War, or at the very end, against German people. And you will see in the comments, oh yeah, Germans did far worse, therefore they deserve it. And the same thing basically with Turkey, like when talking about Armenian genocide, and Turkish people have that, like the same mindset, and really to this day plenty of my countrymen basically view it the same way when confronted by this information that we massacred them, like ethnic Germans. And well, basically how I overcome it was, as I said, like I noticed this chaos inside of me, and it was like a really weird thing. And then I applied basically the same logic to other atrocities around the world, where the defenders, for example, the Russian or the Turkish people, where they have these justifications. And I just said that it doesn't make sense. It's wrong. It's downright wrong. It was murder, it was massacre, it was genocide, it was what the fuck ever. Right? And I then came to the conclusion that the only variable there is me. How is it possible that I judge, basically other people this way, but not my people, not me, So I came to the conclusion though that I was biased, that I was wrong, and that's how I overcame this internal chaos inside of me. And now what I think the internal chaos is inside, at least the book filler, because of how he spoke. Mate, if you're watching this video, I want to ask you, how does the idea of independent nation for black people inside of North America sound to you? If it sounds really fucking good, then I think that is your internal conflict. That is your internal chaos, because I think that this is your unrelenting force of wanting this nation, because again, you remind me, that I admire that even, of basically people that were in my country that were fighting for an independent nation, given how you spoke. And this is your immovable object, that is your reasoning, because we both know that it's simply not a feasible option. This is purely speculation, obviously, but yeah, mate, if you would want to talk about that shit, I would be interested. And lastly, I think people simply view Kyle as guilty no matter what, because they simply cannot identify with Kenosha. It's whatever for them. They don't realize that that's someone's home. When, and this is if we go by the fact that why he was there in the first place, just that. His claim is to protect businesses, and the city and help people. Okay, yeah, I fully understand that. I accept it, I admire that, But plenty of people simply can't, because I don't think they have a connection to their country, to their, to whatever, as strong as Kyle did to his region. And don't forget, he worked there, his father lived there, his best friend lived there. I mean, if you say he's not connected to the region, then no, go suck a dick. You're a fucking liar, dude. Yeah. Anyway, I for example imagined what was happening in Kenosha, and it was absolutely horrendous what was happening there, as happening to my country. And yeah, I would travel across the whole country, even world. I would return. If I would be living, I don't know, in Japan, for example, I would return back, just to help protect my country and my countrymen. I would do that, yeah. And everyone else in my country would basically do the same thing, So, yeah, I think people simply cannot identify with Kenosha like that it is someone's home. And by the way, if you think that is not normal, what do you think, for example, tribal societies, from Papua New Guinea, or Sentinelese from Sentinel Islands, or, the bush people of Africa that talk the very specific way. Do you think they would not? If you would be burning, for example, a village next door, over the hill or something like that, and they would be just like, oh, well, I guess, that is fine, that's them, that's not ours, it's not our business. No, they would come to help their people. That is what I mean. It is normal to protect your people. That was why Kyle was there, quite possibly. I don't see into his head. But the problem I see here is that people simply don't accept this claim, because what? No, that's not normal. You don't do that. That's their position. No, that is very normal. You do that. And for people to basically identify with this, because Americans can't identify with other nations and stuff like that. I'm sorry, guys, to say that to you, but yeah, you kind of suck when it comes to this. There was just this year, the 100th anniversary of burning of the Black Wall Street. You want to tell me that if there would be a black person traveling across the whole country, from New York, for example, to Oklahoma, to Tulsa, was it in Tulsa? I hope. I'm bad with names. Anyway, do you want to tell me that you would? No, hey, it's none of your business. That's not your property. Don't go there. No, of course you wouldn't. No, that's admirable that what he would be doing. He's going to protect his people. And yeah, what happened in the Greenwood district, the severity was completely different. But the principle was the same, because where do you draw the line? How many people need to die? How many buildings need to burn before the populace is allowed to defend themselves? I would say one is too many. So yeah, if you basically cannot accept, if you think that there is a difference between the two, the Greenwood, burning of the Greenwood district and Kenosha, it's quite possibly biased in your head, and while you are like, oh no, I'm not biased and stuff like that. How would you know? If I ask you, are you biased, yes or no, it is like me, are we inside of a matrix, yes or no? You need to test this out the same way how I figured it out, basically figured my, as I said before, the internal chaos, you know what I mean, that it was wrong of me. You need to test it out the similar way. And if you think the burning of the Black Wall Street was somehow different than what was happening in Kenosha, again, omitting the severity, but the principle, just on principle basis. If you think it was in any shape or form different, then I would love to hear your reasoning. Hey, again, with the editing, I realized, well, I can predict one of the things, the arguments coming this way already, and that is that what was happening in Gridwood was racism, and those were white supremacists, and what was happening in Kenosha was not. Okay, fine, that is absolutely correct. How is that relevant? Well, imagine yourself being a business owner, for example, in Tulsa in 1921, and everyone burns. You know, like your business is burned, you lose everything, your future for your family, etc. Well, it pretty sucks, right? I think you would not be particularly happy about it. Well, and you want to tell me that if you would be now in Kenosha and you would lose everything, future for your family, etc., that you would be like, whew, at least I didn't lose everything to white supremacists. It's ridiculous. Fuck off. Anyway, mates, this was Logical Checkmate. Thank you for watching. I'm sorry that I was away for quite some time. It's just a bit difficult for me to sometimes figure out how to say these immensely complex thoughts, how to express them in short enough format and hopefully explain them well enough. This is why I actually prefer discussions with people. And notice, I said discussions, not debates. Debates are competitions, discussions are trying to uncover the truth. So, again, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.